Welcome out to another It's All Been Done Radio Hour story roundtable. This time, we only waited a year to do another Universe Journey one instead of 3 or 4. So we are here with most of the cast of Universe Journey. Let's just start to my left and go around because it's easiest.
Oh, hello, Shane. Meow, meow. Is that what? I missed what you said.
Oh, wait, you guys can't see it, but writing is, why don't we start left? But Jim then posted both thumbs out like this. I was like, what? Sorry.
Ryoe, Michael Anders.
Kristin Green, new, antique, and her most high.
I'm Sam Clements. I am Foley.
Ashley Clements. I am Captain Bobby Luna.
You all know who I am, but no, seriously, it's Nick. I play Captain Kake.
I'm Joe, and I am Lieutenant Yana.
I'm Katie, I'm Takalati.
I'm Megan O'Rourke, and I am Connie Norton and Z.
Yay! So for your all reference, because I know everything blurs together, last time we recorded was the end of season 7, which ended with New dreaming of Electric Starship. So we're basically starting with the episode where they left Eastwood Station and moving forward to last month. So don't talk about anything that's going to happen this month, because that's next season. But
What? Okay.
so we actually started the season on Eastwood Station. How did it feel to say goodbye to Eastwood Station after 4 seasons, which was longer than we were on the Thrifty?
Not as sentimental. Nope.
The silence speaks everything. Just
Yeah.
It was a place we were at. On the way to the Grand Canyon. I don't know.
I actually didn't realize it was as long or longer than the Thrifty. It didn't feel like that. It felt, I don't know.
There was a lot of other stuff that did not involve the station that happened, whereas the Thrifty, we were on the Thrifty.
Yeah.
So I think that may have played into that. And as we left on 2 Starship. So what was your thinking as we split the crew in half again?
I don't like splitting the group. I think I said this on the last one, so I feel redundant.
You are
but I
an
don't
excellent
like
D&D
it.
player then, because you should never split the party.
I know. Yes, exactly.
We only split them for 3 episodes this time.
Yeah, it was a lot less this time, but
Yeah.
I just feel like I'm always just waiting for them to come back together.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do you think the audience probably feels the same way? Like, oh, why are they splitting them into half?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah, but I mean, I
Yeah.
think splitting a group gives opportunity for characters who normally don't interact to interact more. And I love that when that happens. So I think it's some benefits to it. But yeah, I'm always waiting for them to come back.
It's also a great way to usher in like new characters or to elevate like very, very small parts into like recurring roles or main characters because they have more of an opportunity.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, the last time we split, we got Teak, we got Bobby Luna, we got a whole bunch of characters that are still around today. So it did give us some opportunity. The main reason we split this time, though, is Tokalati had finally earned her captainship. And it definitely felt like we should not make her wait any longer. Do you agree, Katie?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess selfishly, I was excited about it, but I think she earned it too.
Yeah, because she got her own ship, however briefly that was. The sad part about immediately sending you off on your own ship is we didn't get much of you because Chase was absent and we couldn't do the Tokalati J, like taking command of the ship, having the baby. We just kind of skipped over that stuff and then came back to it in flashback because we did not have actor availability, which funny enough, Chase is not here right now because he was not available. Was there something you wish you would have gotten to do before we moved into the next era because Tokalati was so briefly off by herself as captain?
I guess, I don't know, maybe just a little bit, just seeing a little bit more of like her style before it gets to, she's arguing with Kake. It would have been kind of nice to see her like hold her own for a second, maybe. I mean, it was brief, but
Yeah.
I guess that.
Also, as we left the station, we left Bobby Luna by herself on the station. Ashley, how did that feel?
I don't remember.
Was this when the surreptish came and then kicked
Yeah, and you had to go out.
Okay, yeah.
It was just one episode.
I was gonna say, I'm like, it was not long.
It was one episode. And immediately after that, we did the time travel episode where we finally folded in the Packer and Ratcliffe future scene story while we saw Tokalati jump back to the 1970s. It also touched on why Kake's mental initial changes all the time, which we'll come back to at some point. And then pretty soon after that, we got into the Wrath of Nathan. Let's talk about the 100th episode of Universe Journey. If you guys just want to give your thoughts on that one, because that was a big one.
I just remember I'm usually kind of plugged in when Jim's talking Universe Journey stuff, writing stuff. And I just remember we came to one of the meetings before the normal table read, and you guys were like, you've read it? The death scene. And I'm like, what death scene? And everyone's like, and everybody, Kristin and Shane and Jim all looked at you like, can we tell him? I'm like, Jim's like, yeah, of course. And it's like, it's Universe Journey. Meow Meow dies. And I'm just like, what? So like, wait, what happened? And then he's like, yeah, you gotta send me the script. I'll send you the script. Yeah. So it was more like a, wait, why are we? I mean, I get it, right? We're doing Wrath of Khan. Okay. But yeah, it was kind of like a, oh wait, why are we doing this? Like now, like, oh my God. So it was kind of like a, wait, what? No. Because I like Meow Meow. I don't want to see Meow Meow die. So
Don't we all?
yeah. So it was
all places on the moon where Anders is from, and telling everybody what a great place it is.
right.
And it died saving your life. So I feel like there was some nice closure there.
Oh yeah, that was a tough one.
Closure baggage.
Broken
Same
nose,
thing.
broken heart, broken soul. You know.
And broken body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shane, how did you feel
Sorry.
when we first discussed killing off Meow Meow over a year before we did it?
Oh yeah, you brought that up. Well, obviously to me out of the blue. And I was like, I think I'm killing Meow Meow. Like, what did I do? But you broke it down. Like, I think it just makes sense. And like, I mentally fought myself. I'm like, okay, what are some reasons why this doesn't make sense? And like, I couldn't come up with any other than don't do it. But no, it made sense, and it was it opened the door for some great emotional beats for everyone, especially new.
I think that's part of why we ended up committing to it, is once I opened the door of, I'm thinking of killing Meow Meow. What do you think? You and I and Kristin talked about it, and we immediately came up with a story arc for New that we all really liked. So that kind of really made it fit. I mean, it really made us commit to that, going down that path. Would anybody else react like Nick did or have a different opinion on Meow Meow's death?
I'm trying to remember because sometimes you tell us things.
Sure.
If
you don't.
Yeah, sometimes but sometimes you tell us things when there's alcohol involved.
Sure.
And usually because you're like, oh, I'm not going to tell anybody this, and then you just have a couple drinks and you're like, oh, so okay, so here's all the spoilers. Yeah, do you want to know? Well, I'm going to tell you anyway.
Is that why Keith doesn't hang out after the show anymore?
I'm trying to remember if you did tell me or not, but then I think because I usually always read the script at least prior to rehearsal. I try to. And I'm glad I think that was the one you would send an email like, no one read this beforehand.
I think I kept back 20 pages.
Yeah, you were like, I'm not holding this. So that's why I was like, oh, I'm glad you told me this because I was just about to read it. And you're like, yeah, don't. but then as I was reading it, I was shocked. But then I also think that part of me was like, I think I knew this, but I don't remember because I also have alcoholic beverages. So I'm like, I don't remember if I did.
I feel like you probably told me when you were imbibed and abided, and but I thought it was more like a joke, and because I felt like you were joking.
Yeah,
because it's Meow Meow.
Sure.
And he probably said it with a big smile on his face.
Hey, I'm thinking of killing off Meow Meow. I'm like, sure you are. And he's just like, oh, maybe, probably not. And I'm like, okay, great. And so that's why I thought nothing of it. And then your guys are like, you know the script, what? So
that wasn't the only thing that happened in the 100th. Obviously, that was
true.
really important. But I think each of your characters had moments in that 100th.
Anders has a big, I think.
That was maybe Anders' biggest episode to date.
I would say so.
Or
besides making decisions that blow things up.
Right. Yeah. How did that feel? Because I feel like Anders has been such a secondary character for so long. What have been your reactions to the growth of his character and him taking a larger role?
Well, it went from, I remember in various parts, just the intros when Anders would try to give a fun fact about himself and talk about the moon. So you get these like little tiny bits and pieces, even though someone, Kake, didn't seem to care or mind or try to run them off. But but it went from that to then when they're actually on the moon and he's speaking about this civilization that is kind of left to squatters and rubble and reclusive enemies, so it's and then seeing him be able to become a little bit more of a just kind of advisory person, but then at the very end it's he and Meow Meow with Nathan just going at it, and it was really cool to see Anders go from just like speaking about the moon to this like to the crew cataclysmic event happening where he's actually seeing it and being a part of it, and no doubtedly going to have a bit of emotional baggage dealing with the aftermath.
Sure. Obviously, the things that happened after split up Luna and Foley. How did you two feel about that?
Good riddance.
I see it every day.
No. It was Foley was already dealing with some stuff still internal, and he still hadn't really spoken with anyone. And so having someone he was really kind of giving his heart to and having that moment and then having it being split up in any capacity, that's just brutal. Take a man while he's down.
Yeah.
Right. So, and he always tried to be more private, I find, and Foley was a little more to himself. He didn't force his experiences on others, right? He wanted to share them, but he never forced it on anyone.
That's a good point.
And so it happening again was like another big event happening again to him, and to really make him downtrodden. Just it hurt him, but he still kind of kept to himself for a little bit as much as he could.
Yeah. He didn't handle it well.
No.
Yeah, matter of fact, you brought up a good point. I feel like Foley, before he got stuck in time the first time, was way more open and gregarious. I mean, obviously,
Before his
gregarious, but
wife
like,
died.
right, but like he was very more open with his emotions in general to anybody. Now it's like he's closed off, and now he's even more closed off, like just even in a friendly way. Like he doesn't drink with Kake as much or work with anybody, really. He's just very...
You are absolutely right.
Nailed it.
And Sam
I
plays
wonder
really
if
well.
that may
That's
have
also
anything
where
to
I
do
was...
with next season's arc.
I was
No, you're right. Certainly that's something that has been a multi-season arc for Foley, and it's not something we're done dealing with. So we had to take him to his lowest low before we could start to tear it apart. Now, I know Ashley would have been heartbroken if that was the end of Luna, I think.
Oh yeah, I was ready to quit.
Yeah.
We had a discussion ahead of time,
We
though.
did. I was actually thinking about that yesterday. I'm just like, how long ago was it that we talked about this? And I figured this out. It was like 2 years ago almost, because I remember like right after we talked about it, we went with Kristin into another room to listen to the newest song she just finished for the Daniel Kravitz musical. So it was a while ago. So I knew it was coming. But
oh, wow, yeah.
yeah, we knew for a long time.
Well, we've made Luna a main character a season or two before that, so it would have been a very short run for her.
Yeah.
Not that it really matters because it's not a TV show, but I considered her still a main character through the season because she got her own episode and she had
Yes.
adventures at the beginning of the season. So we kept her alive as part of the crew during this. What did you think about the story arc, though, of leaving her? Because I know we had a big discussion about who gets left behind and why.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that was good for your character's development, or?
It made the most sense for her to be left behind. We haven't really gotten into her being back yet. Can I say that?
Yeah, I mean, you could, in the last moment of last week's episode, she was
Yeah.
back. That's it.
Yeah. So we haven't really gone too much into that because like we didn't talk too much in the Luna episode about exactly how much that was affecting her. But like the only family we know that she has is a brother who's dead, which was mentioned in my very first episode, and I don't think anyone but me remembers that.
I know. I
Yeah.
don't know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do because you've reminded
Because I
me.
mentioned it. Yeah. So to the best of our knowledge, she doesn't have any other family. And like, this is her fiance is gone. Every single friend she has is gone except for Jameson, who's in a coma. So like, I feel like it probably hit her pretty hard too, because she's alone.
She wasn't handling it well either.
No.
She wasn't sleeping or
No.
going to her apartment or
Didn't know what day it was, how long she'd been working. And
Well, and the fact that it was just pure happenstance. I mean, obviously, she didn't know that, and the crew didn't know that, but, well, maybe they did. But, it's like, you just happened to be off the ship when it happened. Like, that's
Yeah.
it. It could have been literally anyone else, too.
just
It just happened.
it happened like
Yeah.
2 minutes sooner.
Right.
It's not like Grace, who she purposely kicked off the ship.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So speaking of Grace, Nick, we're just going around. But Nick, so Kake was finally like in a stable, healthy,
Yeah.
mature relationship with Grace Thomas. And now he's lost. What do you think that does to him?
I think it's unfortunate because there's two things that happen. He loses Grace and he loses Meow Meow, but he hasn't lost Grace. And I think Kake is cocky enough to think that we'll be back. So I don't think it's bothering him. I just don't think he's been dealing with another problem that's more on, which is the loss of Meow Meow. That's more, can't come back from that. Though I'm going to assume too that as time goes by, it's going to really start grating on him, like emotionally grating on him and draining him, because so it's like once he's dealt with one trauma, he's going to deal with yet another trauma. And I don't know. I don't know how he's going to deal with that, but I'm assuming it'll be very Kake-ish, which is he probably won't talk about it, and then it'll unravel some other things, or he'll unravel. I don't know.
I mean, I think of all the characters, Kake is one who's grown maybe the most because he's a very different character than when he started. Not personality-wise, but in terms of maturity and the way he handles things and opening up to people and stuff.
True, but I think Meow Meow, and I could be wrong, it might have been, I don't remember the book as well, but someone didn't die in the book. Did someone die in the book that was really close with Kake? I don't remember.
Oh, Gary, his best friend.
Gary.
Who hadn't spoken to in 8 years.
But here's the thing, though. When he did, though, it felt very like, oh, well,
Yeah,
like
I'm Captain Kake. I'm just going to keep going.
It's fine.
This one's different a little bit because it did bother him, too. And so I think once he has done grieving with that, then I think then he'll only have left to deals with is the thing he doesn't want to think about.
Right.
And then that is going to be interesting. And because I don't know how Kake will, I'm not really like, because when you lose someone you love, like legit love, like he loves Grace, it's going to be devastating. Because again, right now, Kake, but again, as we've learned at this point, things are not working out every step of the way. So Kake's boldness is starting to be cut back a little bit. So he's Kake, but he's not. I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Let's talk about the two captains for a moment. Kake and Tokolati fighting for control of the ship. Who do you think was right in that situation?
Oh, always her. Always her. Like legitimately, like Kake was being Kake, and which is he's cocky and brash, and he thinks he runs the roost. And in his defense, he's been running it for a while, but yeah.
But it was his ship.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think Grace was the one who said Grace, not like Kake's Grace, but like Grace in the show.
Yeah,
she's the one who she brought that up to me, and I was like, that's a really great point. It was his ship, and he has been like above me for so long. So I do think it was like it kind of did balance out in those ways where it's like, yeah, I mean, it is his ship, so I don't know. It added more conflict. I think that I wasn't 100% right all the time.
Right.
We had talks about that a lot, like after the show at parties, and Grace, I remember telling, like, Grace and I both were like, it's weird. We feel like we should be rooting for her, but the way she's not even pleading her case, just the way she's not actually making valid points, but she's just sort of acting like it should just be hers. It's like, I'm not rooting for her. And I think we switched course there to make it more like a more reasoned and less of a hostile approach.
We had her finally confess what was going through her mind.
Yeah.
Which I wish I could say was well planned out because it feels that way to me looking back at it now, but it was not. It was just like, let's fix this mistake that nobody's rooting for Tokolati. So I think we were able to find good reasons to support how she felt, even if she was in the wrong.
Oh, yeah.
In the end. Yana and Norton during the 100th got to hang out, be buddy buddies.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody really liked that.
I am excited to see their dynamic more and more as the show goes on, because it was just a lot of fun because it's very platonic.
Yeah.
It's just friends that are overall, I think they have the same mentality of they just want to do their jobs and they want to do them well. Like that's what it is. So of course, when you have two captains that are just arguing over each other because they're like, who's captain? They're just like, oh my God, like this is nothing's ever going to get done. Nothing's going to ever be solved. So yeah, it's fun to kind of expand on that.
They're also kind of the newer members of the crew, so they can kind of be on the side commentating on the leads in a way that some of the other people are a little too close to that. Megan, you've had to play double duty because Z has been such a major part of this story arc right now.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
It's a little easy because their voices are so different, but I also feel like I'm antagonizing myself. My own problems. But yeah, I really liked to see Connie maybe go against what the orders were a little bit. And it worked out if our intel hadn't been better. But yeah, it was fun to see me go off on a little adventure and have somebody that's finally like-minded on the ship. And then as far as Z goes, oh, what a jerk. I felt genuinely bad for doing that to you guys.
It is all Megan's fault.
It is.
So I did kind of skip Kristin as we were on the table because I feel like the news story has weight and is so heavy. And Shane's included in this because we used a holographic Meow Meow, which kept Meow Meow in the story for all of the season.
Kept the rest of us out of the entertainment suite.
When you just learned to work out again to put up with his friend. So yeah,
grunt.
Kristin and Shane, if you want to discuss that story arc a little bit and your thoughts and feelings on it, because you were both instrumental in developing that story arc.
Yeah, well, it was definitely one of those things of like, I think we thought right off the bat, like a big thing Miana does, oh my God. And then she's developing a hologram version. You're like, oh, okay, so that's how he's gonna stay around. And then you find out.
Yeah.
Especially going into the Voyager arc, where they have a holographic doctor that eventually had to leave the holodeck and be like part of the crew. I think we were purposely trying to fake that out.
Yeah.
It was always very clear though. It's like we have an end point here where we will say an actual goodbye. So yeah, we didn't want to have something that big be viewed as like something we just manipulated and just pull on heartstrings for no reason. I don't know. It was kind of scary. Knew the very first time I conceived of her was because we were joking around about what a partner for Meow Meow would look like. So as a character, she's definitely more than just his partner. I mean, they weren't even together that long. It took a while to get together, but I had always thought that would be like for her personal life, at least that was end game. So to hear that he was gonna die was a little bit, as a performer, like what is she gonna do then, or what is her life gonna look like then after that? So it's really interesting.
And the messages, the goodbye messages, those those came out of just an offhanded comment I made like what are we in year 8 now?
Yeah.
It was a while.
probably like 6 years ago, where it was like we were out after a show. I'm like, man, what happens? I should just record a line for Meow Meow in case I get hit by a truck. That's just, well, bye. And like that became a
started about
joke.
that around show 5 or 6. I think we were still
I just remember like probably every once a year Shane would bust that out anyway, and he was like, well, bye. Like, I ate some bad broccoli. I died of cauliflower.
And it
pie.
ended up
It's
working
just-
out for the story.
Oh yeah.
We did that little short where she walks in on
That was a
him.
scene in the season premiere of season 8. So we bookended the season with the goodbye messages.
Well, because we knew if we want to use the messages as a big thing in the end, we can't just bring it up like a thing that we never mentioned before. So we're like, let's plant the seed at the season.
Thank you so much. I'm not. You guys get it.
Yeah. It's like, we're not just going to be like, oh, gee, did you know he recorded a million?
Did you know Andrew's nose got broke by Nathan the first time Nathan was on the ship?
We are planting that seed as early as we can that
I
he
know you
actually
will.
did this in life.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, things like that, and getting to plot out a season knowing the end was really, really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did anyone else, when holographic Meow Meow show up, think that cheapened his death or thought we were trying to take the easy way out?
I don't.
Yeah, I did a little.
I think at first, but I think it was because we knew. I think we did know, like, no, there is an end point where, like, no, he is gonna be gone. But it was kind of like it's so emotional at first. So then you're just like, what? How can they kill off somebody that's been a part of this show the entire run? And then like, oh, okay, I guess he's back. So like, whatever. Like, why does it even matter? And then as you see that emotional arc for New, because that was super powerful then too on how that's developing. But then, like. He's gonna go. Like it's gonna be done.
That I thought that was so interesting for her too, and also that like they just kind of let her, but you would
They did it.
well that Kage let her.
Yeah.
Well, that someone else didn't storm the entertainment suite.
Well, and I told him, I was like, this is fascinating. You're doing the Voyager Doctor arc, but it's with Meow Meow, and that in itself is a twist on the head. And I'm like, I applaud you. He's like, don't worry, he's not going to stay around. It's like, what? He's like, sorry. What? And he's just like, no. It's part of the emotional arc. And it's like, you and New are going through this. And the only one who knows about it is you. And I was like, I do? Because I have. It doesn't appear. He's like, oh, no. Kake knows everything that happens on the ship. I was like, of course he does. but no, like, I was like, yeah, it was really awesome.
I do love the fact that like one of the first days he was up and running, like he popped in and said hello and like, yeah, of course he did.
We didn't know that till later, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think I had talked about the Kake in my mind early on. I was like, yeah, Kake visited him too.
Yeah.
Until New shut things down and locked herself down in there. And that nobody could
like
visit.
she didn't know. I think it's just so weird that like she in every other case she would be very like practical and like what is the best thing for the majority, but in this case she was just utterly like self-absorbed, and that this is how she would deal with grief was very interesting to me. And I liked how we got to see how everyone dealt with the grief and the stress of the situation. That was one of my favorite parts of the like 2-part finale, was seeing everyone's stress and how they were dealing with it or not dealing with it come to an absolute breaking point.
We tried to crack the crew as far as we could before we resolved it, that you guys are really broken. And I don't think, from a writer's perspective, now we said our goodbyes, everybody's good again. Like, I don't think we're there. It's going to take time to build back. It's not just like, new episode, we're fixed. Nick, how do you think Kake handled the situation with New correctly?
He probably left her in there a little too long, and I think he recognizes that. He totally recognizes it. I think he does say, he's like, I left her in there too long. But I think that he was just trying to do the best for her in that, because I do think like he's never really been impacted by a real, no offense to Gary. Pour one out for my homie Gary. That's pretty much all I want to say. Yeah, it's like peace out, Gary. Yeah. No, but I think because Meow Meow, I think he was legitimately a very different kind of friend than what Michelle was. Is a very different friend, and I think both of them, there was finally mutual respect and love in a way that I think Kake did depend on, and so it was tough for him, and he realized it must be even tougher. I would say this: I always kind of envisioned that. He knows Grace is fine. She's just stuck there. Meow Meow, her Grace is gone.
Yeah.
And so he's trying to just like, well, I just gotta let this play out. And so I think it was tough for him, but he's just like, and it also will be better for the ship too. And of course he kind of miscalculated on that. But grief does things to people, and so I think he messed up a little bit.
I think it was one of the reasons he cited for thinking he needed to hand over the captainship to Chocolati. Like, he had a list of things she was right on, but I think this played into it as well, making this decision. Katie, do you think it was the right decision for Kake to step aside and give Chocolati command?
It's hard to say, but I mean, I think like at the end, she started to really have, like, I think she had a lot of merit towards the end of like doing the right thing, like just doing what needed to be done. So I don't know. It's hard. I think it was the nice thing. I don't know if it's the right thing, but I think she's going to try and make sure that it's the right thing. I think she is aware of ultimately like what an honor that is, I hope.
What do you think is her greatest strength as a captain that Kake differentiates her from Kake?
I think that she has a good balance of being like very smart and factual, but also I think she uses her heart a little bit too, whereas I think Kake's a little bit more like just confident and like, hey, I'm just gonna go on like gut instinct, which is good and serves a lot, but I think sometimes she does a good job balancing the two things maybe a little more.
She listens.
Yeah.
And
listens.
might not always completely agree with them, but will be enough to entertain their side. And if they put up a better...
Well, she has good bedside manner if she was a doctor. She has good bedside manner as a captain, which is like, maybe the joke was he didn't care enough to know Andrew's name. He probably at some point really did. I think he established he did. Yeah. But like, it's a dick move. Like, not Dick Kake, like it's just a jerk move. It's a Dick Kake move, but no, it's a jerk move. And rule number one is just don't be a jerk. And I think like, because at some point it's going to really, and it did. It dug on Anders a little bit. And if that's just Anders and he deals with him every day, what about the random ensign that sees him every day and helps him out doing other things that we never see? That's it probably would grind on them a little bit until they just like, I can't deal with it anymore. Michelle doesn't do that. She's very much personable, takes everybody on and cares. So I think that's important. And also she's brash only when she needs to be, and thinks outside the box. While Kake just doesn't seem to, he acts like he doesn't care and then thinks outside the box. And I think that's a much better way to be sometimes as a captain, because technically he's been very, 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 very 3 minutes later, very, very lucky. And yeah, so.
I'm excited to see what Kake gets up to now that he doesn't have that responsibility. if that was
gonna be
Kake
great.
with responsibility, just like without.
First off, the bar is open and I'm very excited.
I think he's gonna hate it.
Oh, he's totally going to hate it, but then the bar is going to only help for like a second, because then it's like, where's everybody at? Why are we all worried? Oh, I know why we're worried. So
Well,
yeah.
the easiest thing I thought to do was to just make him the first officer. And it was so much more fun to have Anders be like, no, I heard this too.
No, that was so good. Yeah, I'm to be honest, like Nick is glad that happened, because I was just like, because part of me was like, ooh, I get to be first officer, but I was like, poor Anders, like yeah.
I will say, getting away from the two captains thing, I know that people on the podcast didn't get to appreciate this, but for the live shows, I really liked when they were just bickering, having like 8 other people on stage and just seeing how the different characters chose to like be awkward about it. Like if you go back and look at our stage pictures, like the other characters, like you're rolling your eyes a lot. I know as
You meaning Joe.
Yeah, Teak
Yeah.
would, yeah, sorry. Teak would always be very like uncomfortable-ish, and just other people like looking at each other behind your
Love
backs.
Teak.
That was a lot
Love
of
Teak
fun.
so much.
Oh,
Teak is
I'll say this always and forever.
Yoey, what do you think Anders brings to the first officer position that makes him such a good first officer?
He's been one that, like, as mentioned, he's gotten shit done before, and he has a way of doing it where he listens to other sides. He has opinions, but he doesn't always believe he knows best. And I think that type of diplomacy under a captain like Michelle Toccolati, I think they complement each other really well in that respect. Might not always agree, and there might be parts where they get a little huffy with each other, but ultimately Anders brings that bit of empathy. And I mean, full disclosure, Anders doesn't want to become a captain, but he does want to always be very much supportive and as much in charge and responsible for things as possible. So I think that, plus having Michelle's gumption and excitement of actually having the ship, he's going to bolster her in that regard.
And because of that, you're also at the same time, I think, going to thrive better than you ever would have under Kake, which is awesome.
And you think he'd make a better XO than Kake to Toccolati?
Yes.
Yes. Like, dear God, yeah.
Well, we kind of
Anybody would make a better Exo than Kake.
I fought for Anders to be an ensign until the day he dies.
Ensign Harry Kim.
I think that'd be hilarious. It's just like we see like 80 years in the future, he's still Ensign Anders.
There's
I mean,
there's
he's already
always
Lieutenant
time for another
Commander now,
character.
so.
That is pretty funny.
Yeah, we kind of already moved on from Toccolati being captain, but if you think about what her character went through in the year and a half before she became captain, she had to be the liaison to the enemy as they ran Eastwood Station for a year. Then she gets kidnapped and is in the Echo Dimension by herself for 6 months or so, pregnant, forced to act as her duplicate and do evil things. Kake's been through some stuff the rest of you have not been and aren't aware, are not necessarily unaware of, but don't have the experience of. How do you think that influences her style?
Oh, I think it's really toughened her up. I think that really sort of like made her more prepared than she would have been. Because I think she was a little bit hesitant still before, but I think now she's like literally, I've been through the worst that could happen. So I think she has more of a like, I don't know. I think she's come back a little bit stronger, definitely, than she would have been before. And I think that that's like also part of the reason why, fighting to be the captain. I think there's a lot of things that people still don't really understand about her or what she's been through. And like, even though she came off really kind of annoying, I guess, arguing with Kake, I think like knowing what she'd been through, I think it made perfect sense to her. So yeah, I don't know. I feel for her.
Well, she thought she was going to get in trouble for her actions when she came back from all that, and instead they promoted her. So clearly the leadership had confidence in her. And that was before her mom took over. So
yeah, and I think that the leadership has had confidence in her a lot longer than she's had confidence in her. So it's cool. I think now I finally see her like with standing up to Kake. I think that's really truly the first time that she's been like, no, I have confidence in me that I can and I should do this. Whereas I think she's always sort of pumped the brakes before. Like she had an opportunity earlier on to move on, but she's like, no, I want to serve under Kake longer. So I think she's totally changed like what her goals are. And like, I think that all has to do with like her confidence in herself.
which character do you think, any of you think, is going to object the most to Toccolati being made captain? Ashley's pointing at herself as Luna.
Luna.
Why?
Because they're never going to be friends.
Why do you say that?
Is every time I read a script and there's any interaction with Luna and Takalai, they're always fighting. I'm just like, because Takalai is my favorite. So I'm just like, and I think I wrote it in like the notes one day when I was editing a script. I'm like, we're never gonna be friends, are we?
I mean, people would have said that about Meow Meow and Kake for you.
I guess that's true, yeah. But
We got time.
Maybe
one of us has to die first.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, you guys clashed on when Jay came through because you had different opinions about that. And then you clashed when she was running the station during the occupation because you had different opinions about that. I think their clashing has been over principal things where they both think they're in the right. And I'm not sure which one was in the right. Like, I don't think it's clear that Tokolati's always right and Luna's always wrong. They just have very different styles. Yeah,
exactly.
It's different.
Two different sides of the same coin.
Exactly.
And now you have to serve under her.
I know.
But it's weird. I feel like they're actually probably a lot alike.
Yeah,
I think so.
That's probably why.
Yeah.
I think they need to sit down and have that conversation.
Yeah, and then it'll all kind of fade away.
So he's not in the room, but maybe Jay,
Mm.
because he's got the baby, and I don't know.
Yeah, Jay has been doing a lot of baby duty lately.
I just thought of this.
Yeah.
I know I pitched another Kake babysitting episode, but this is better. Baby's Day Out within the ship with every character and the baby.
Baby crawling through each thing.
Each thing,
POV
everyone
of
gets
the
a
baby.
everyone gets a bring a special guest in. It's like this is what the baby's thinking, and
But have Helen
So
Mirren
cool.
narrate.
I love
honestly, that would be really boss too. But yeah,
Get Helen Mirren. Yeah.
I'll give her calls.
Like I randomly watched Look Who's Talking too.
Oh.
Randomly, the one I'm like, I kept thinking about it because it was one of the movies I just watched so much. So now I'm like, yeah,
you're welcome.
like it's not.
Ask Krista if she wants
Oh,
to
she'd
the
be-
voice of Everly.
He'd be great for that.
That'd be so good.
Shane, part of what we tried to do, I think, to soften the blow, and this is teasing next season. So to soften the blow of losing Meow Meow is you have been creating another character for you to play in Universe Journey. You want to speak a little bit about, was that exciting? Did that help you not be so sad?
Yeah. Well, give me
I
something
think that's
to
the
focus
reason
on.
you agreed.
No, it was
Wait, I needed his agreement?
we were, we're going into this whole new arc and everything, and Voyager is my favorite series in the franchise, and so it was a pretty big bummer to not be part of it.
We
But-
got there.
Yeah, finally there, and
He's
you're
killed
dead.
the second before they leave.
But no, I'm excited for the new character, trying to work on, just as voice actors, we all try to do different things. And I think we've all kind of sort of grown past like, look at the wacky accent I can do, and trying to really bring the character to it. And so, yeah, trying to figure out interesting, quirks and depth to a new character in a, show that I've been the same character for 8 years. It's a new challenge and very fun.
Good.
I'm excited.
You joined the cast in the season 9 premiere that we'll be performing today. So Shane never left the cast either. We didn't do that to him. Didn't want to do that to him. We are getting close to time, so I would like to go around the circle again and ask each of you, what is one thing you want to see for either your character or the segment as a whole this season?
Well, I already said Anders as an ensign forever, but that's not happening. So
So now you've been pitching me Ensign Bernie as an ensign forever.
I just want to see one person who, it's not that they're incompetent, it's just that that's their peak. They are only that good and they're valued, but
Maybe Nino makes more sense.
And they survive. They survive the whole time.
they survive the whole time.
Resilience.
So- but they just aren't.
There's your 80-year-old.
Yeah. I'm okay with that. I think she'd be okay with that too.
All right. I need Anders to stop shitting on him because of Dr. Tunra. Is there going to be something? Entertainment Suite.
I'm
Can we
sorry,
get a
that's going to
virtual?
get worse before it gets better.
Can we just make the Entertainment Suite a virtual doctor to take over Dr. Tunra's job?
We'll see. But that's going to get worse before it gets better. The Tudor thing, wait till the beginning of the season. We got a big thing that's going to impact the crew because of your decision.
I can't wait.
Kristin.
I guess I just want to see new, sort of reestablish her relationships with the crew, obviously outside of her and Meow Meow together, and really just find she can do anything she wants to do, but I want her to find something she loves and find a path and a focus and just find where she is the most useful and the most happy.
Clearly in the sciences department where we now have Teak, New, and Bobby Luna. That's the best place for us.
Clearly, they don't need her anywhere.
That's the most overstaffed
I
department.
want to see it. I
now.
want to see a scene between New and Teak.
Yes.
I'm avoiding that.
I think that would be great. I mean that sincerely. I'm not joking around.
No, I think it'd be fantastic.
You might hate tea.
Actually, would she correct her grammar, like not knowing at first, like or do you know what I mean, like not taking into account right away that that's her species and that's
Would she like? Would Teak glitch New out? Like
that? Wouldn't that be? Yeah.
Oh,
Well, because you know how some people always correct people's grammar. It's like
blend them.
no, it's yeah.
No, but for I actually want to see Foley rekindle some of the relationships he's lost and hasn't fostered in a long time. You know, yes, he's been with Luna for a while, and that's really been his focus for so many episodes. But I really think that he's missed out on those relationships with Kake and with some others that I want to see him reforge. Now, there's going to be some breaking down first, like we has been before it can get better. But I think I want to see those bones heal.
Me too.
Well, like even with his daughter, there's like a weird, almost like I guess I'll do it for you because you're my daughter. Like he doesn't say it like that, but there is like an undercurrent of like, you're my daughter, I guess I'll do it because I have to. But like he doesn't say it directly like that, I should say. And there is love there. You can just feel like your brokenness is added to that, and it makes me sad because
that is something I feel like New is so latched onto. I mean, you guys are her parents, but I do feel like sometimes the response that she gets from Coleman, from Michelle, is a little like, "Love you too." Like it's a little bit like it's always an abbreviated interaction and like that family dynamic. I mean, especially like you've got your biological baby now. Yeah, I just feel like New sort of got lost in what she feels like is her family unit.
Yeah. Well, I remember when I first started, like there was an episode we had, I don't remember which one it was, but I was like, man, I really feel like a dad this episode. This relationship feels so good with New, and then it hasn't happened like that since. It's been kind of
100th. They had their little family scene where the three of them. I felt like that got back to it a little bit.
We
did. I had an audience member tell me once that their favorite scenes were between New and Foley.
Oh.
But that was back when you first took the
Yeah. So I miss that. But yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to, kind of see more of those bonds, not just with Luna, but with everyone to rekindle and reforge.
Ashley?
Yeah, it'd be great to have some scenes not with my husband. I said before, like I really want Luna and Takalai to be friends so badly. And I think I
More Anders time.
I know. That's because I'm like, back
You
when
guys
we
are
were
friends
all
too.
split up,
Yeah.
like it was Luna, Anders, and Jay. Like they were our little trio. And then when we all got back together, I never talked to them again.
Oh.
Well, maybe you do. We just haven't seen.
Right. So I'm like, that could be fun. Like have Foley and Jay be the mediators for Luna and Takalati. Because that's
Except for I'll
Takalani.
mediate for Takalani and Jay mediate.
Although you and Jay weren't getting along all that well at the end.
well, that's just because
well, that would make it funnier though.
she doesn't because of Takalati. But
He's trying to, as a properly trained therapist, trying to interject, and you're like, "This isn't about you."
and don't forget, Teak was in the bows of the station with them too.
yeah,
We only saw her like twice, but she was there.
yeah.
Or
So-
he was there.
he was
Sorry,
there.
I always forget.
But yeah,
I'm confused now.
Yeah.
He was there.
He was there.
Kake interacts with everybody, so it's kind of a.
But what do you want from him now he's not captain anymore?
I would like him to find a purpose. I told him I'm not saying that because I don't know what happens next. But no, I would say, because you did kind of mention it here, I would like to see some more emotional fallout and how with Grace, because I think he has a little bit more trauma to work through with Meow Meow. Sorry, but once he breaks through that, there's going to be something much worse there, I think, for him to deal with. And on top of that, trying to survive. So I'd be interested in that. Now, I would say, though, we haven't really hung out. Norden and Yana would be more fun to be, and I think I can't say anything else, but that would be more interesting to see more of that dynamic, because I've had more time with Norden, but it's in a different manner. Like, I think Anders and Kake have had more scenes like where there's more personal connection, interaction of some kind. Maybe it's one-sided where it's like, he doesn't know my name, or Norden is just more like, you're just kind of like, you shouldn't be doing that because it's not regulation or whatever. So see a little bit more of that. And then with Yana, that would be interesting, because
it's very brief. Any of the interactions we have had, because it's been strictly business.
So
we kind of skipped over Yana like getting used to being on the crew, and he's just there because we had that whole like year that took place in 2 episodes, and he got to serve with a lot of them for a while, and we didn't see it much.
Yeah, and I was like, so yeah, I'd like Yana to interact more with everybody, and rather I mean, I like to know more about the species he comes from.
Mm-hmm.
I know we've talked about that before, so I'm very excited to touch a little bit more on that. Because all we really know, I think, is just he's got a bony head,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Black weird.
well,
Yeah, it might be gray.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
that one we don't know
Sorry.
because I think because that's what I couldn't remember. Because I realized a lot of my characters in Universe Journey just laugh.
Yeah.
They all
I hate to break this to you. You laugh.
I laugh
weird.
weird in general. So I'm like, but no, I'm because he's aggressive at working out, but we don't know more about the species that he's part of. So it'd be nice to touch
A
on.
bit of a sassy bitch.
We added you to the Universe Journey cast, but you haven't developed that.
Yeah, no, it's just sarcastic.
You're still the newbie at this
sarcastic.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah, of the main cast. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I am very excited now that Takalati's the captain. I can't wait to see how she sort of like elevates crew members, like especially like her senior staff, because Kake for so long has been the one in charge, and I think like he's brought out sides of characters. So I'm excited to see how she's going to do that, because like Anders is a great example. I think like he's someone who is always forgotten, and she's like, I don't forget about you. In fact, you're important to me. And like I think that comes from like very early on. She was the one who was always forgotten. So I think like hopefully my hope is that she like makes a lot of her senior staff like feel special and seen in a way that she never felt like she was, you know, before like they really became friends, like Kake and Takalati. So that's what I'm hoping or excited to see.
I think I would like to see Connie struggle with some new species. Like she used to be a pretty intolerant and hateful person, and now she's a little bit more tolerant, a little soft. So I'd like to see a little bit of that hatefulness come back, that she's not
Especially where she falls in love with something and hates herself for it.
yeah. And then for Z, I think I want to see her have some kind of comeuppance, but I don't even know if she would care. So, but just for me personally, as a person, as an audience member, would like to see Z get her comeuppance for what she's doing.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the Z plot's not over yet. So, and personally, I think Jared the bartender should get at least 3 lines this season.
Speaking of
I have some
I think
problems with
you're in
that. No, I'm
charge of
kidding.
that. Sorry. Yeah.
There's a reason we never see him.
Yeah. We don't tip him anyway. Especially not Meow Meow.
I think most people like him. It was just Meow Meow.
Is money a thing though in our future?
Apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I guess.
I mean, I guess it wouldn't matter.
I'm
The
asking.
Voyager part of
Yeah.
it, right? Because
Yeah.
I mean, guess I'm trying to get her medals,
If
but
we do need money,
They do trade.
I think Yana should win a Mr. some kind of universe for one, so we can get money. I think
like
that would be great.
That's good. Okay, well, thank you all for another. Now we've done 8 seasons. So here's the season 9, and I'm gonna probably try to do another roundtable in another season or 2 instead of waiting 3 or 4, because this is only our 3rd roundtable in 8 seasons. So yeah, we'll do it a little more often because there's a lot of characters and a lot to talk about. So keep coming back and enjoy the universe journey.
Bye.
It's all been done in Radio Hour number 480. Story Roundtable number 16, Universe Journey Season 8. Featured Jerome Wetzel and the cast of Universe Journey. Please check out our website, IABDpresents.com, and have a great week. It's All Been Done presents
Who's got the time?